Here's the new beginnings. Here's the new beginnings. The pull up so independent. We pull up so independent.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Sloan Blueprint. I am your co-host, Nicole Sloan.
And I'm Eric Sloan.
And we're glad that you took the time out to join us again for another episode.
Yep, another fun-filled
episode. We know that the holiday season is approaching us, and it has definitely come up pretty fast. I don't know about you. It seems like this year just flew by.
Yeah.
We were talking about that earlier. It just has flown by. So we decided to maybe discuss some tips on how to manage stress during the holiday season. Y'all know we get all stressed out trying to do so much, cook, buy gifts, and all this other stuff.
Well, and I think that can be difficult at times just because you try to accomplish so many things. Yeah, as you mentioned, as far as food and eating, and then of course
family entertaining, you know.
Well, and then not only that, of course, I ain't gonna say the shopping.
Shoe fits, I'll wear it. I'm going to buy me another pair now, just for that.
Really?
But yeah, and that's true too. And then some people dread the holiday season for various reasons, but we can't just allow that stress of buying gifts for others and preparing for the family and those kind of things, and even financial pressures to just take away the true meaning of the holiday.
Correct.
That's what we really have to focus on.
Well, and with that, I say the holidays, I speak for myself, can be a roller coaster. Yeah, so a roller coaster of emotions, I would say.
Yes.
Because as I said in previous episodes, I grew up at Six Flags. So you have the roller coaster where you're going up and everything is good. You have your ups, you have your downs, you have those additional twists and turns that happen. Then all of a sudden you get to the end and it immediately stops. Well, in the real world, it doesn't immediately stop that way. And so, and I know for me, I have my own roller coaster during the holiday time frame. So,
well, that's funny that you said that, because you were talking about the roller coaster. I'm sitting here thinking, they make me nervous. I'm sorry. You know, I'm not a fan of roller coasters. Great analogy, though. Good job. Somebody out there can relate. There's a fan of the parks and the roller coasters.
Oh yeah, I love it.
Going back to just saying thinking about how the holidays should be a time of reflection. And not necessarily just, again, the stressful part of, making sure that everything's just perfect, because I'm guilty of that too, knowing that we have family coming, I want everything just right. And so I probably unconsciously stress about it.
Say it ain't so.
It is so. It is. So we want to talk about some tips on how to manage that stress during this holiday season, right?
Yeah. So I guess the first thing would be to acknowledge your feelings. So again, talking about the roller coaster, but everybody else doesn't know. So during the holiday time frame, in my family, we have several birthdays that come up. So it's a happy time because it was the birth, one, of my youngest son. It's also your birthday. Two of my line brothers of the greatest fraternity in the world, Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. But then also, at the time, it was also, when my dad was alive, it was his birthday as well. So it's a lot of things from a life standpoint, birth and things like that happen during the holiday. So that's a happy time. But it's also, for me, a sad time because it was also the time that when my dad passed away during the holidays. So as far as the emotional roller coaster, for me, that's sometimes during the holidays, that's where I guess I come into play. Being superhuman, super dad and everything, but don't be afraid to, I guess, acknowledge your feelings. Let your wife, let your significant other, let a friend, let somebody know what you may be going through as far as if you have to cry.
Right.
If you have to do, again, you don't have to be superhuman.
And if I could say something really quick, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but that's a very good point that you brought out, because a lot of us that have lost loved ones during the holidays, you feel like you can't necessarily express your grief during that time. And so that's why you have to know, just you or anyone else or any of us, you have a right to feel the way you want to feel. If you feel like crying, you cry. If you want to laugh, laugh. I know a friend of mine that experienced a loss. I expressed and I said, hey, nobody can dictate how you feel. If you feel like crying today, that's what you need to do.
Correct.
Because we may not necessarily be able to put ourselves in that person's shoes at that moment. So that's a very good point that you brought up, just acknowledging your feelings.
And then with that, everybody wants to be the rock. So, but the only thing about that, you're a rock, but if you're under so much pressure, then it can crumble.
That's true.
So, and you don't want to crumble mentally, physically, spiritually. So, what is it, Fresh Prince, or something that Will Smith played in? Stop, breathe, release. And I think it's either the Fresh Prince or Bad Boys, but something like that, woosah.
Yeah, and you know what? And also, it's another good point to that is to reach out. You've got to reach out to people. Don't feel that you're alone, and you can't stay in that place. Family members or friends or somebody that you can reach out to support you, when you're having those feelings. Because some people feel alone in those times, especially during the holidays.
Well, and not even from a family member or friends, but don't be afraid to seek out a counselor. That becomes a word of not hesitation, but it's almost like a bad word sometimes in certain communities whenever you say anything about a counselor. Like, oh my God, why I'm going to go tell this person my business or tell my person that business? Well, sometimes you need to be able to talk to somebody if you don't feel comfortable talking to a significant other or a friend. Sometimes it's better to talk to a stranger because then you can be a little bit more open to communicate how you're truly feeling.
That's really good. And what I want to say this too, for those of us that, know that someone is going through. If we know that we have a friend or a family member or a church member, whoever that may be going through, that may have experienced a loss, reach out to them. Don't wait and say, well, I hadn't heard from them, so I'm not going to reach out to them or I'm not going to call them. No, you never know what people are going through.
Right.
So, and even when you know what people are going through, reach out, call, text. We're in the age now where you can pick up a phone and video chat or FaceTime.
Yep.
So that's really important. To stay connected to those that that have experienced some type of loss during the holiday season.
Correct. Changing the subject as far as something else, that some of the healthy habits during, I guess, the holiday season.
This is another tip, huh?
Yeah. Sorry, what did I say?
No, I'm just asking. But this is another tip.
Yeah, correct. So during the holiday season, we like to indulge in some favorable eating.
Everything. Y'all know everything.
But during that time, so during the year, I read the book Atomic Habits by James Clear, and he specifically states that it takes 2 months or 66 days to be exact to form a habit. And during the holidays, what do? We tend to get away from those habits. So it only takes 3 days continuously to break that habit. So you worked 66 days to create a habit to sustain yourself. And then during the holidays, you get lazy, you get relaxed, and then you get away from that.
All that goes out the window. Well, because we all equate the holidays with one of the main things is eating. Even though, of course, family, spending time with the loved ones, but we all love the holidays because we're like, oh, Lord, I can't wait till Thanksgiving because Mama gonna cook this turkey and this ham and this macaroni and cheese and all this other stuff. We use it as an excuse to overindulge. And while it's good to enjoy these things that are being prepared, it's just also that we have to be mindful not to overindulge. Because you know what happens at the beginning of the year. Y'all know New Year's Day, Gold's Gym and whatever gym are blown. Do you hear me? Blown or blowed. Whichever one you want to call it. Because everybody is in the gym trying to work off these pounds that they gain in November, December. They in there a good month? Maybe some hang in through February.
Yeah, if that long.
Maybe some hang in for that 66 days. After that, it's over.
Well, no. And so that's the problem. They don't hang into it for 66 days to create that habit.
Yeah, I just thought about the
Yeah.
66 because you said it. It sounded good.
See, but that's one of the things that I guess that they can do whenever over the holidays, if they've created the habit of exercising, they need to continue to do that.
Yeah.
Don't get away from it. And if you need to change your schedule or change your workout just a little bit so that you're still doing something, whether it's doing a push-up or doing push-ups, not a push-up, doing push-ups.
A push-up.
That's not going to help you. Just
Well, I was about to say now.
but doing push-ups, or if you're in the neighborhood, walking around the neighborhood, and then that's also a time not to change it, but that you and your spouse can do something together.
Right.
Since we're always talking about couples and couplepreneurs.
Because we ride our bikes. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so we just gave y'all the tip now. So what Eric is saying is Thanksgiving Day, go eat all that turkey and ham and whatever else y'all Southern folks, chitterlings. The chitlins. Y'all know how y'all do. But then look, but he's saying after all that evening, y'all better go for a walk.
Yeah.
And do a push-up.
Well, and everything is not always physical. Sometimes it's mental. So some people that read often, then when it gets around the holidays, then they decide, I don't want to read anymore.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a break. Well, still stay in the habit of doing mentally working your brain out, not only just physical, but also incorporating that mental aspect.
That's
as
true.
well.
Because holidays is also about just relaxation, and sometimes we need the relaxation. I know I do, but it's a downtime for a lot of people because everything throughout the year is such a hustle and bustle. And then there's still a hustle and bustle during the holidays. So take that time to relax, but also what you say when you read, of course, because it relaxes you mentally too, right? Depending on what you read.
Seeing me, well, yeah, depends on what you read, but it also depends on what you eat. So you eat that good cooking, and then afterward you have that good red velvet cake.
He giving my mom a hint. And this one right here, trust me, it don't take nothing for him. One good meal, as soon as he sits down. As soon as he hits the couch, I wish I could do that. I can't do that. As soon as he hits the couch or any seat, it doesn't even have to, it could be this seat right here. He is out like a light.
Hold on.
Within 0.5 seconds.
This is not about me.
You just talking about the people relaxing and stuff, so that's what you do. But we'll move on. I'm sorry. Another tip that's funny. We could talk about that for a long time. Another tip that really helps as you manage this stress during the holidays, to me, is planning ahead.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I am one of those. I like to plan ahead as much as possible. Him, not so much. Him. Him. This one right here.
Yeah, that one.
But if you're a shopper, then shop during the year, because there's a lot of good things that come up. I guess sales and things during the year. If you're a shopper, and then if you're looking for good deals, just so that you won't go overindulge in that area too. But also set aside specific days, for your shopping, doing your menus, scheduling out your grocery list and things because y'all know what we do. Yeah, and we are notorious for this sometimes as well. We will wait until the week of and run into Publix and Walmart, and y'all know it's crazy. I mean, folks everywhere, and y'all know Walmart ain't gonna have but 2 lines open, and we still go. Then we got to go to Walmart and stand in line for an hour to get 2 items, But that's planning ahead.
Yeah. Well, and another thing, planning ahead, and you probably plan way ahead.
Ahead.
During the holidays, everything is on sale, but then immediately after holidays, they're trying to get rid of those items. So if you really want to look at planning ahead for the next season, right after the holidays, go ahead and purchase all of those things that they're trying to get rid of. And sometimes you may be able to hold it for the next year, especially if you're getting the sizes that people need,
right?
And then getting it at a bargain. So
that's true. That is true. That's a good point.
Well, and then setting aside, I guess, doing that while you're planning, setting aside days where you can spend time specifically with friends, family. But sometimes you may not want to intermingle the two, because sometimes your friends may want to do a particular thing that your family may not want to do. So you can set.
I'm sorry, that was funny. Like your friends or your family or whoever, vice versa, might want to party, have a little drinky drink. Some folks do, but then some you may have another group that doesn't necessarily want to do that. Is that what you mean? I'm just being silly, but laughter is medicine.
But outside of all that, as you're sticking to a plan, making sure you stick to your budget as well. Because as we talk about indulging, sometimes you can go to the mall and you see a few things like, oh, I need this or I need that. But
or so-and-so needs that.
Yeah, exactly. And that's not within your budget or that you've already, I guess it's still incorporated into the planning. It's not within the budget that you had already created for yourself and then for your family.
Right. So. If you can't afford it, if you don't have it, don't spend what you don't have, because that's what we do a lot of times. We overspend, and then y'all know what everybody's looking forward to then. Tax season. Not so much, but I'm gonna get my income tax money, so I'm gonna go ahead and spend all this for Christmas. And a lot of times it's just stuff that we don't even really need. We like to buy gifts, and I'm a gift giver, no doubt, whether it be for the holidays or any time. But sometimes if you know that you don't have the money to spend to buy those gifts for that family member, that friend, y'all better do like we used to do growing up. Let me tell y'all what we used to get from at church. They used to give us a little paper sack with an orange and an apple, candy cane, some peanuts or something. Hello, Merry Christmas. You do what you can. It's a thought that counts, and if they can appreciate the thought that you put into it, and even just the effort or just the heart to want to do it, then guess what? You just take that little apple and orange and candy back and eat it yourself.
I thought you was about to say something else.
What do you think I was going to say?
Oh, nothing.
Okay. Y'all know I wouldn't do that. I say that by off camera. But that's what you better. And then what I thought about too. A lot of times when we're giving, even when you're able to give and you know that your family may have enough. I'm not saying don't give to your family, because again, I'm a big gift giver. I love to give regardless. And I'm going to buy gifts for my family, because a lot of times we'll all say every Christmas, don't buy me nothing, don't buy me, and we still end up doing it. But donate to a charity, or an organization, that's in need. Children, families, mothers, elderly. Yep. There's so many people, homeless people that are in need.
Very well said. And that not only helps your community, but it's rewarding to you. It gives you a sense of confidence and a sense of not just confidence, but also self-worth.
Yeah.
To be able to give back to the community and be able to give something to someone that's less fortunate. Even though you may in your mind think that, well, I need it just as much as them. But if you give it to them, then it's from the Bible standpoint, it's going to come back to you. Yeah. 2, 3, 5, 10-fold, just because you're willing to do that for somebody else.
That's right. And you're not doing it to look for God or anyone else to do anything in return, but it's just what we're supposed to do.
Correct.
Especially as Christians. And finally, let's get to this last point. There's so much that we've all experienced in the last 2 years that should have made us all so grateful for family and friends and those around us. Set aside these differences. And this is with family members. This is with friends. It could be with coworkers, whoever it is. Set aside your differences. Well, sometimes we allow our pride to get in the way. If you know that a family, if you've had a whatever, not necessarily an argument, whatever it is with a friend or whoever, go to that person. It's time for us to just start letting some stuff go. Too much happening nowadays, and we don't know when our day is when our last day is going to be.
Well, and understanding some of the expectations that you may have put on someone, they can't manage the expectations that you have for them. Allow them to manage their own expectations. So we have to be cognizant of that in any relationship. So whenever we are trying to set aside those differences, making sure that you don't have unrealistic expectations that you're putting on them that they don't even have for themselves. So I think sometimes that's where some of those differences come in. you know.
Oh, well, that's true. And then recognizing that you can't control someone else and their feelings. All you can do is you have control over yourself.
Correct.
Be accountable for you. This is just me talking generally. That a person may be feeling the effects of the holiday stress and this is just an example, it may take their stress or frustration out on you and you don't realize it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why we just kind of have to take a step back and realize that it may not necessarily be about you. It may just be they're going through whatever they're going through and didn't know necessarily how to handle it. So I just feel that very strongly, again, that we have to just set aside these differences and don't allow these small things, these small foxes that spoil the vine.
But I hear a lot of people talking about their in-laws. I thank God I've never had that issue as far as from an in-law standpoint, because my mother-in-law, father-in-law, brother-in-law are awesome. I'm like, whenever I hear that, I'm like, y'all got a problem?
They
really?
Love him.
What's the issue? I was like, I don't have those problems. We say you got 99 problems, but that ain't one.
He and my brother like this, big thieves. But that's true.
Yeah,
but some people, on the contrary, there may be someone and there are people that experience total opposite. So, that's why, again, it's time for us to just set aside those differences. Love each other. Y'all enjoy each other during the holidays.
Well, and not just the holidays, but even beyond.
Definitely during the holidays and beyond. That's
exactly. Allow the holidays to bring you together and bring you closer together in love.
Exactly, in love. I think that's a really good note to end on. Good note.
But in summary, number one, acknowledge your feelings and reach out if you're feeling lonely or isolated or whatever. Let someone know.
Don't abandon your healthy habits. No matter what. Don't eat too much.
Stick to a budget. Plan ahead.
And also, what did we just finish talking about? Set aside your differences. Love, love, love. And the song, who has that song? I can't remember who it is. Love each other.
That's wonderful. I like it.
Greatest commandment. Well, we definitely appreciate you all joining us for this episode on how to manage stress during the holiday season, and even like Eric said, loving each other and doing all those things beyond the holiday season, because these are things that we really don't just have to practice now, but
Correct.
this is just a lifestyle.
Correct. Of course, everybody's not going to do that, but work on it.
Works in progress. Progress, not perfection.
Exactly.
Tell everybody how to connect with us.
Well, continue to follow us. If you're watching us right now, we thank you for watching us and following us. If you have yet to follow, go to YouTube and click on the Sloan Blueprint and click on the follow button. You can also go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts. And if you go to Apple Podcasts, click the follow. We enjoy when you do that. It benefits us just a tad bit, just so we know that you guys are following us and you are taking a liking to what we're saying and what we're doing.
Right.
Just a vote of encouragement for us.
Absolutely. Appreciate all of your support as normal. Don't forget, wearethelsloans.com. Order your Boss Times 2 gear. Thank you for all of those that have continued to support our efforts in that as well. We are going to sign off. Y'all enjoy this holiday season. Remember, love each other. Be kind, love each other some more, and don't eat too much. Until the next episode of the Sloan Blueprint.
Here's the new beginnings. Here's the new beginnings. The pull up so independent. We pull up so independent.